Hello and welcome. My name is the Alpha Female and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Whoa! G'day, mateys. Bushwhacker Luke here, 2015 Hall of Famer, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk. Yeah! Whoa!
This is pro wrestling's only modern-day Viking Gunner, and you're on Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey, this is Nick Magnus-Tolis, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hi, this is Leva Blue Pants Bates, and you are listening to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey, this is Jeff Jarrett, the king of the mountain and founder of Global Force Wrestling, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Talk. Hey, fellas, you guys have a great day, and this is only because I'm talking to Canadians. It is actually spitting snow in Tennessee.
See? Oh my God!
That's a great. We've had 70-degree weather here. We've really had a warm December, and I get on the phone with damn Canadians and we're spitting snow. So.
My name is Carl. And welcome to what was the longest running weekly episodic program on Love Wrestling. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. Thank you to everyone that I see already that is on here with me. And I also have on here with me tonight my good friend Pluggo, who is making an appearance that is going to be for a little bit. I understand that you just did a really cool interview and had a couple of moments to spare. So I really do appreciate you hopping on here with me to just shoot the shit about some wrestling.
I love you, Carl, and I could not. I had to come in and say hi. I was going to come in at the end, but I got done early, and I figured, what the heck? You got some people in the chat. I got Astrid here.
I do.
Ed's in the house.
Ed, yeah. I mean,
I don't know what we're going to talk about, bro. I mean, I'm just here
Ed says, boy, Carl, if only something happened in wrestling recently. It's been such a quiet time since last week. Holy shitballs. We have got... Wow, just some crazy stuff.
Wild week of professional wrestling, Carl.
Oh, it definitely has been. I'm running shit by myself here, and I totally forgot. Where is it here? There we go.
There we go. Oh, I'm not allowed to push buttons on my shows.
Oh, I'm the only one that pushes buttons here.
I get yelled at. You would think.
Not as bad as
Pluggo some respect. They're like, no.
You're not getting yelled at as bad as Alex does.
EVPs?
As EVPs or as producers do over on a little show called Between Two Beards.
Listen, that Alex guy getting a little too big for his britches over here. Yeah, I don't want to know.
There we go.
But Carl is he is my Randy Orton to my Riddle. He is my mentor. Like, I cherished all of the long conversations we'd had when I had just started out here at Love Wrestling. And the advice you gave me, I always ran with it. The one was just keep doing what you're doing and don't change for anybody. And that stuck with me. I don't want to get all sappy and emotional at the beginning, but if duty calls upstairs, I got to run. But I just wanted to tell you, Carl, that I love you, and don't hesitate. Always reach out to me. I'm going to reach out to you for advice because
please
like
do.
I said, I was young in this game. I mean, I'm an old man in traditional sense, but in the game, I just taking advice from you and even Joe at the beginning when Turnbuckle Talk. You were one of those shows that I was like, I want to be like those guys. If I can hit that number, if Between Two Beards can get 300 episodes in, I would be ecstatic. So I just, before we get too deep into some wrestling, I just wanted to say thank you, my friend, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate that very, very much. For those of you that don't know as of yet, because I have not made it public, you're going to know now. This will be the last.
Whoop, my bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I was going to put it out there at the beginning anyways.
I thought you let him know.
Nope. I was putting it out at the beginning anyways. I have made the decision that this will be my final stream with Love Wrestling. I have no animosity. I still suggest that everybody check out Love Wrestling because there is still great content that is available here. Spencer is putting on, Love Pro Wrestling shows still that are going to be over on Twitch right here on this channel. So make sure twitch.tv/Love Wrestling CA that you're staying tuned in here. But I've decided that I need to just kind of branch out and open up that friend zone is what I need to do. And there's a lot of different opportunities that are out there. You just have to go and grab them. And that's what I'm doing right now. I need to grab some opportunities by the balls and run with it so that I can continue to grow this show for all of you that are watching and maybe regain some people that I may have lost along the way. I know that there's been many changes since the beginning with Love Wrestling. I went through 2 co-hosts for different reasons, and then started just doing this on my own and throwing out invites to whoever wanted to hop on. And I've had some great people that have decided to hop on at times, and I thank all of you for that. It has been an absolute wild run here. Love Wrestling is going to continue on without me. I know that. I definitely know that because there's such good shit, as Vince McMahon would say. It's such good shit happening over there. Stick with them because, as I said, at the very, very infancy of this, I believe on the very first show that happened on Love Wrestling, which was a Turnbuckle Talk, I said that Love Wrestling was hopping in that elevator and going straight to the penthouse, baby. And they're still on their way there. They're at like the 17th floor of 20. They're just about at the 20. They're just about there.
I'm going to push the buttons real quick. Astrid's saying, love you, Carl. And I don't always agree with that, but Carl. Damn right. To the moon.
That's right.
God,
that's
Carl.
Right.
Don't get me crying on streams.
No crying. There's no crying in wrestling.
There's no crying in wrestling.
Oh, such a great movie that one was.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
There's no crying.
I don't agree with this. Alex, I say justice.
Right?
No, we're not here for you, Alex. We're here for Carl.
I say justice for Alex. Yeah.
Astrid saying she cried.
She did. She did. It was very emotional just to sit there and watch that as well. I got emotional along with Astrid when she had her final stream as well. It is an emotional time, but it's also a
I had almost cried.
Yeah. Right? It's an exciting time too, though, because with every great business, and as I told all of management within Love Wrestling, within every great business, there has to be growth, and not everybody is going to really stay with a company. But you have to have those success stories that have started with a brand or started with a company and have been able to move on to different things. For myself, as an operations manager with the company that I'm with, I am so delighted when I see staff members moving on to whether it's policing or corrections or border services. I am so happy and proud of them because I was able to have a little hand in helping them achieve where they wanted to go. And just through the talks that we've had, I know that Spencer as well is it feels the same way for me. And he spoke for everyone in management as well in that message that I had sent. But yeah, like it's just that's what it is. It's growth.
I'm with you, my friend. And like I said, I wouldn't be where I'm sitting today probably without me bending your ear after late night streams and just picking your brain because you've been doing this so long and like just saying, hey, how do you approach this? How would you approach that? And like all your advice, like you said, you know, I think the first or second stream I think I ever did with you, I was kind of hesitant. You were like, why? Just say it. That's what people want. Be you.
Right. Yeah.
Why try to, I didn't want to overshine anybody. He's like, no, just shine, just do your thing and it'll all fall into place. So I appreciate you. But you know, we do have we got some, we should talk about some wrestling, right? Unless you want to keep going. We talk about, I'm going to miss you. I could just say, I'm going to miss you for the next 45 minutes. I'm going to just do that and I'm cool.
Kool-Aid Manu 288, thank you so much for shooting a message in here and coming by. Boo CM Punk, boo, boo. You know what that just reminded me of? I don't know. Have you ever seen? I know Astrid hasn't yet. Have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride?
No, I haven't.
Oh. So there's a scene in The Princess Bride where the bride is, or the princess is supposed to, she's not a princess yet. She's a farm girl and she's supposed to marry the, I'm sorry, Astrid. I love you. You know that. So she's supposed to marry the prince and she's sleeping and she's dreaming and she's walking down in front of like a pathway with all of her, people around her now, right? And this one old lady starts going up and looks like this old witch type of thing, right? And she goes, boo, boo. You had true love and you gave it up for this and boo. And that's exactly what that reminded me of.
That's one of those movies that like I probably should see and I just haven't. I'm one of those guys. 45 minutes of Pluggo crying, Ecto guy, he's out. Yeah, I deal with 45 minutes of the Ecto guy crying every Thursday night. Yeah,
right.
Thank you, Carlpito. But Carlpito, tonight, Carl's number one. I am literally just here to support my good friend on his final stream here at Love Wrestling. Dude, I am going to start crying.
No, you're not, because we're going to talk about the elephant in the room.
Are you calling me fat, Carl?
No, I'm calling
fine,
CM Punk an elephant right now.
I'm gonna cry because of that too.
Oh my god, dude!
What was that? Sorry for cursing.
I don't know. I may drop the F-bomb on this last one too. I know it's against what my rules for streams, but I put it as explicit everywhere that I put this out. So,
yeah, I try not to, but that was my thought was so. I went on a date with Mrs. Pluggo at All Out. I know, and I got a little flack from some buddies, but I was like, you know what? You have 4 kids, you take the spots, and I'll catch up later. So I get home and I'm catching up and I'm getting involved. And I'm watching All Out, but I start to hear about the scrum because I'm behind.
Yes.
Like he just like took a match and a can of gas and was like, let's just. It was one of those things too, and I'm a CM Punk guy. He is my unequivocally number one wrestler on my list because he is my guy. Like,
right.
I just loved everything he did. He got me back into the wrestling game. Like he was like, okay, I got to see what this guy does every week. And then I'm like, but you just overshadowed everything that just happened at All Out. Like we had Samoa Joe return. MJF is back. There was some really great matches on that card. The tag team match was fantastic. And you're just like, that's all people could talk about is whether it was a work or a shoot. I just felt it was a bad look. I just felt like if you're working us, you better pay this off in spades. because Tony Khan is just sitting there while he's ripping apart EVPs, and he's just shaking his head. And every time Tony tried to talk, Punk talked over him.
Yeah, every time he literally, Tony Khan would start to talk, and then CM Punk would just kind of look over at him, give him that dad look, and he would just,
yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, you're the owner of the company,
right?
Like, and I know that we don't want to do this people hate the WWE AEW comparison, but in this situation, like, I'm gonna make it right. Vince McMahon would never let that happen.
No.
Triple H would never let that happen.
Oh, they cut off CM Punk's microphone during his fucking pipe bomb in the WWE, right?
Right.
Tony Khan should have grabbed that microphone and said, wait, hold on, let's discuss this in the back. Cut him the hell off.
And like I said, I'm a CM Punk guy, and I think controversy is good. I enjoy. Let's see, we got Bobby. We'll stop. Carl, my man. I'll say, Carl, my man. I wanted to drop by and wish you all the best in your final favorite levels. All I can say is all of the best. Love working with you, and never forget Ole.
Ole.
I missed it. We got Ed saying Ole. It must be a thing that I missed.
Astrid here. It outshined.
Yeah,
the show.
Like, if Tony Khan wants to do the Eric Bischoff thing and join the NWO type deal, he basically just said, yeah, CM Punk, my EVPs, which in real life, they're your EVPs. So that means executive vice president. That means they're your number 2 in theory. You just let your star trash them, whether it was a work or a shoot. So now we all think that they're goofballs.
Right.
And then we hear that they got into a big fight, whether that's a work or a shoot. I don't know, but it's like, it reminded me, I don't know if you're familiar with, like, and it's like everything's been changing. So the WWE narrative has been positive and AEW is now negative. And it reminded me of, like, I was watching this And One documentary. Remember And One, the basketball shoe company?
Yeah.
They were they had the street ball, basketball. They had it. Everybody, they had the credit. Nike couldn't get in that space. And all of a sudden, one day, Nike went taken over again. And they said in that documentary, the owner goes, what we did in 5 years, Nike was able to just accomplish in 30 seconds with one commercial. And that's what feels like is what's going on right now, is the WWE is like, you know what? We're just going to turn it on and look at all these people fighting, and look at all these, inner fighting. EVPs are fighting with owners. They're fighting with the champs. It's crazy. I don't know what to believe.
It is. I had a buddy of mine actually send me a message and earlier today while I was at my shoot job, and he goes, all he asks was, so is CM Punk getting fired? Oh God. I'm like, no, dude, I don't think he is. I said, at the end of the day, Tony Khan is still writing the paychecks, even for the EVPs.
Correct.
It still goes through Tony Khan. So you take a look at how Tony was acting during that media scrum. I think we have our new Bobby the Brain Heenan. We have our new Weasel.
Yeah,
Tony Khan is just a little fucking weasel. I love the AEW product. 100%. I love the product. But if you're going to have somebody as the owner of the company that can't control the employees, that is sitting right beside the guy that is causing a pretty big stir, and you can't, just kind of motion to somebody to cut the microphone or take the mic, cover it up and say, dude, we'll talk about this later. That's on you now. You son of a bitch. That's on you.
That, and I watched some stuff today throughout, like, just on, like, various social media sites, and somebody had spliced up all of CM Punk's feuds, and they all have the same, no one wants you here. We're trying to keep this belt from you. So if this is a work and Tony Khan, like I said, if this is a work and Tony Khan's in on it, they're all in on it, and this controversy creates cash mentalities where they're going with it, he better pay it off. And in spades, because like it just like Astrid said earlier in the chat, it overshadowed everything. And this Tony Khan reminds you of Jeff Jarrett and Dixie. I think he's more Eric Bischoff if he's going to align with Punk and do the Punk, Punk and Khan versus, which is fine if that's the story they want to tell, but it just didn't. I don't know. It was just odd. He's eating a muffin. He's drinking,
drinking some sparkling
and he's
drink.
Super combative with. Like he was very combative with the question asker, and like Nick Hausman was the first one, and he just started in on the Colt Cabana stuff. And
didn't call him by Colt Cabana though. Called him by his real name.
Yeah.
Which most people don't even know what Colt Cabana's real name is.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And then he started talking about Scott Colton's mother and bank accounts and bills.
Bank accounts. Living in his sharing a bank account with his mother. Yes.
He rehashed that whole thing out, and then he's going up and down. And if you asked a question, he was like, "You're cool with me." Like, I know he had like Phil Lindsay asked him a question and Will Washington, and he's like, "You guys are good." But then
wasn't Alvarez there too?
Yeah, and he was like,
and
Alvarez.
At the end, yeah.
What did I ever do, Alvarez? What did I ever do, Dave? Like, it was just. It was super strange. Like super strange.
Right. And then this Astrid saying when he said they have EVPs that can't even manage a target, she gasped. I didn't gasp. I laughed. I laughed my ass off because for a few moments there, it sounded like it was a work. But then when he continued on, it definitely sounded more like this was a legitimate shoot.
Yeah, and then he was like, they're stepping on their own dicks. Like, he just went scorched earth. But again, I will say this, though. CM Punk is very, very, very good at blurring the lines from work to shoot. He knows more than anybody how the world perceives him in terms of the wrestling circle. And we all know that he's hard to work with, and he knows that he's hard to work with. And I think there's some elements of this that could be a work, but I just feel like where things are trending right now in the landscape of like, you've got WWE who's on the come up again in terms of, intrigue and building buzz and momentum. And you guys are trying to go with the car crash vibe. Very Vince Russo.
Right.
That didn't work. And I hope that you guys have a great master plan in place, because you can't let CM Punk overshadow everything else that you guys are doing.
Now I know that you're not a purveyor of New Japan. And I know that you really don't watch a lot of New Japan professional wrestling.
Which I should, and I keep saying I'm going to, and I just
New Japan does the same thing. They do a media scrum after a show. This reminded me of a New Japan professional wrestling media scrum. When you get guys, and I love the guy. I love Jay White. Okay. When you get Jay White going out there and just as intense can be, dropping the F-bomb, just talking real shit, looking over at the Japanese girl there that's, handing them the waters and stuff and just going, damn, relax, just calm down, relax. Right. Like, wow. Like, it's just insane. Switchblade era is alive and well, and I absolutely love it.
I do need to do myself a favor and watch more Jay White, because he is fantastic from what I have seen.
One of my absolute favorites right now is Jay White. Hands down. But this 100% reminded me of a New Japan media scrum. Now, is Tony Khan able to have a little bit of originality? Because everything that's happened so far within AEW, minus I think maybe Cody with the whole smashing of the throne with the sledgehammer stuff, everything else really seems to be traceable to other events that have happened within other companies along the way. And I'm hoping that that isn't the case. Because like I said, this reminds me of New Japan. And we know that Tony has worked with New Japan very closely recently. Is he just taking shit from other companies and running with it and trying to make it his own?
He was at first, but I think that's because he was, giving all of he was fan servicing early on, right? Like, let me give you that match that the WWE passed on that, we want you want to see, like, and he does do that. And then I honestly believe that, like, you got CM Punk and things changed. Like, if you didn't, you know what I mean? Ever since you got Punk, and I'm not saying everything that's been negative about AEW is Punk's fault, but when you get a big fish like Punk, plans change. If the WWE would have signed him, their plans would have changed.
True.
So maybe he is lacking a little bit of an originality, maybe because I know that he was leaning heavy on Cody, the Bucks, and Omega early on.
Yes.
And then he kind of took a little bit of the power away from him. I think that's why one of the reasons Cody said, I'll just go back home and make the same amount of money and take the weight off my shoulders. And I think that was the right move for him. But maybe he's, because there is some very chaotic things going on. And again, if you're telling me that it's very New Japan, and I believe you, because I don't watch New Japan that often, but you do see the, like, okay, that's definitely something we would have seen, elsewhere, or we could trace it back. There's not been a whole ton of original ideas lately. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if he has too many toys and he can't figure out what to do with them. But when you get, Danielson, Cole, Mox, you got all these guys, all these females, female talents that are killing it. You know what to do with them. Like, maybe,
and the returning MJF. MJF, and I'm glad that he's back, because MJF is absolutely the best goddamn heel in the business right now.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And I like Mel Ball, your Collins, your commentator. Yes, imitation is the best form of flattery. And I don't think there's anything wrong with imitating good stuff.
No.
I feel like he's got to come up with some stuff. Like, he needs to, and he said he's going to try. Like, he said he wasn't going to take the Tony Khan, that is, said Chris Parrish in the house, Carl. Yeah,
that's right.
Like, Carl. Hey, Carl. But
that kills people.
Carl. Hey,
Pluggo. Stop touching buttons.
Oh, I can't help it. It's a disease. I'm the victim here. I can't help shiny objects.
Oh,
I'm like Tony Khan with all this, but he said it. Tony Khan said it in that media scrum that he noticed that the WWE all of a sudden is running shows on a weekend where he was the only one running shows, and he's not going to take it lying down, and he's got a lot of cash to back this up. And yeah, I hope he does, but you have to, like, when WCW went to bat, the first couple, when Bischoff took over, it was very like, this is WWE light. Here's some old stars, rely on them. And what was it? That NWO, let's try something new. And then they were off to the races because they had a new idea, something that hadn't been done in the States. I know that the stories have been told and that it was a New Japan thing that they kind of tweaked a little bit.
New Japan, All Japan. Yeah.
So maybe this CM Punk, Tony Khan thing, maybe it is his big moment and they're going to run with this and do like CM Punk and TK versus the world. Because maybe the Bucks and Omega and Cody didn't want CM Punk, or didn't feel they needed him.
Right.
Which I think at the time they didn't need him. It was a cherry on top. Maybe there is some animosity there, and they're going to play that in a storyline. And MJF coming back just adds even more fuel to that fire.
That's so true.
That's how crazy that night was, that MJF returned, and we weren't talking about it off the jump. We're talking about that damn media scrum.
Right.
But,
because that's all people have been sending me and asking me about.
Right. Exactly. We got Joe in the house.
I'm not a bastard. I know who my papa is.
Yeah, but I am magnificent.
So tell me.
I'll take it. I'm a magnificent bastard. Thank you, Joe.
Do you think that this was the right way for them to have brought him back? Coming out as the Joker
I guess
under a
the way-
mask,
yeah.
and then at the end of the night revealing that it's MJF. Do you think that it was right to a reveal at the end of the night, or should they have carried it on a little further?
You wanted to make a big splash because it's all out, and I think that that's what you did. Because that the way they did that ladder match, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was it just felt very like, all right, we're all here, let's put in our spots, and we know there's something coming at the end. And then all those guys, like, none of that makes sense. You had Stoke, you had, Morrissey, you had one of the ass boys. It's like, okay. And then MJF comes out in the mask. They paid it off. Trust me. Like, had they left that at that, people would have been like, what was that? But
True.
They pay it off at the end. MJF comes out. He's back. The music hits. The place goes wild. Punk looks like, oh shit, it's on. Like, I've got my work cut out for me. But again, if then Tony Khan said, I think any way you bring MJF back, you had to make it a big deal. So you give him, you basically cut the fat, right? You don't have to have him go win 5 or 6 matches to get back into the title picture. He won the chip. He won it in a way that somebody else won it for him and handed it to him. And they got to explain that story. So is Tony, it almost like they need an authority figure here in AEW, because they need to explain a lot of shit that nobody's explaining. But
I gotta pull it up just so that I actually have Josh's words. So my buddy Josh, I gotta find it here. He says Khan looks just like a fan that's super excited to be around wrestlers. He said where both Triple H and Vince seemed like ultra alpha males. AEW seems like a clusterfuck right now, and it's a huge bummer. He said he should be more hands off, pay the bills, enjoy the show, put good people in creative and management, which I agree with. I told him I fully agree with that statement because I do. I think that just the last statement is what I fully agreed with. I think that, yes, definitely it needs just a little bit more authority, whether it is somebody that comes in as like a president of the company that oversees everything, and, is maybe, it doesn't even have to be like an on screen, but you need somebody like a Gorilla Monsoon there, right? Like somebody like that. At
this point,
right?
Right? I with that statement that you made, like, I love that he loves professional wrestling. I have said from the jump, and I know people have crapped all over Tony Khan for being a fanboy, but if I had his money and I was running a promotion, hell yeah, I would love these wrestlers and I would be ecstatic to have them, and I would be at these media scrums with a smile on my face, just in awe that I'm sitting next to CM Punk. But I will say that at some point you do have to understand that you basically gave creative freedom to everyone from the beginning. Like, you said, we're not going to do the scripted promo thing, we're not going to do the overproducing thing, we're going to let you guys just be. And that's good and that's great, but there needs to be a ceiling to that in some aspects, I think, right? Like, you need to dial it back, or if Tony Khan needs to step in and say, hey, listen, Sammy or whatever, don't say that about Eddie. No, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Because,
right.
whatever, maybe, I don't care. You use the example you want. Hey, don't say that. Hangman, don't say that about Punk. That's a little too far. They can't get pissed that they need to, they're probably like, wait a minute, last week it was cool. Or why does this guy get to say this and this guy get to say that? There needs to be somebody that's like, listen, we this is a business. This is a television production. We have to, because workers shoot, sometimes they do blur that line of like, oh, wait, are you allowed to say that on TNT?
Right.
Like, you got to be careful. And it's a slippery slope of like, if there's no structure, then things will start to fall apart. And whether they're working us, again, I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't have that information. Or it's a big shoot. Good for them. But right now, they look like a company in disarray, and it's crazy because they were like 6 months ago. They were 6 months to a year ago. You're like AEW is going to take over. WWE is on the downcline, and now you've got people want to go back or it's crazy right now. Wrestling is an all timer, right? It's a peak. It's good for business. It's good for conversation.
Yeah.
But you got to structure it, I think, right? Some kind of
Oh yeah, you definitely have to. You have to. Even on the independent scene, when I was wrestling on the independent scene, we were still given limitations. We were still told, hey, we got a majority kids out here tonight. Mind the language a little, right? Like we were still given some sort of structure. If you've got something that you need to say, wait for a show where there's a few more adults, and then we can work this in somehow. But you definitely need to have that ceiling where there has to be that understanding of too far. And right now there doesn't seem to be that level there. There is no too far now.
And that's a great point from you, because I've never been an independent wrestler. I've never been in the business outside of this amazing content creation stuff that we do here. But yeah, like I get that, I know you want to be TV 14 but you got it. And I'm naive enough to believe that if Hangman Page and CM Punk are about to go out there and cut promos on each other, that they've discussed it first. I'm naive enough to believe that Eddie and Sammy discussed it first. But maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe who's to say Punk is wrong and Hangman didn't go in for himself. But at the same time, CM Punk has habitually been this guy, and I will say this as a fan of his, who will unload his chamber on everybody. And the second anybody crosses any line with him, he's like, wait, what? Whoa. Like, I don't like that. Like, if you're going to shoot your shot, you got to be able to take it too. So I don't know. And we got Parrish. He's also, he's a wrestler as well. Do you guys discuss your promos before you cut them on each other? Or do you just say, hey, don't touch this, but everything else just go?
See, that's kind of the way it was for me. I mean, I had no problems with anybody shooting a promo on me. I didn't care. Say whatever you want, but I always said, do not bring my children into it. That's my only thing. You do not talk about my children. Everything else is fair game. At the time, my ex-wife, she was kind of valeting for me. She was known as Diamond. So she was valeting for me for a little bit. So obviously she's usable.
Yeah.
Right. But my children, you say one thing about my children and I will shoot on you like you've never been shot on before. And I will be in to hurt you. That's it.
That's fair.
That's how I was when I was working.
But that's discussed pre-show, like before you go out there, right? So those wrestlers know this is the line. And that's where I feel like in AEW, like unless they're really, really good at working us, and this is all like I didn't think what Hangman said was too far out of line. MJF said worse, I thought, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe he's mad, but he had to have known. And this is why, like, you're a smart enough performer, and this is why it's in the back of my mind. I'm like, they're working us because CM Punk is smart enough to know that you're going to come back after 7 years at a company that you would have wanted to be a part of 10 years ago when you were shooting on everybody. They're going to bring up some skeletons, man. Like that's the move. That's the stick. That's what we want to hear.
And especially if they're not regulated at all.
Yeah.
The shit's going to hit the fan. Pretty Kitten 667. Thank you for stopping in, saying valid. Yeah, like definitely a valid. I believe Pretty Kitten was talking about when I said don't talk about my children, everything else. Yeah. I believe that's when that comment came up. And then Parrish coming in and saying, the Chris Parrish saying, shoot on me if you want, but I will shoot back. And if you get mad at me, then it proves who's insecure and who's fragile in that aspect. Definitely.
Yeah, I said, but again,
you want to dish it, you got to take it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not in the business like that, but I felt like all this stuff had to have been at least outlined or guidelined. You're not going to go out and do a promo battle like Punk and MJF had that one night where it was like 30 minutes and not have some kind of conversation about it first. You're just going to go out there and what is this, like roast battle with Jeff Ross? Like you're just going to go out there and try to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I know what you mean.
So I didn't understand all that, and him getting upset about it. I was just like, and the whole time I'm like, Tony, just shut him up. Just tell him like you got to go, or
right,
like something came, like just move on, because it's only getting deeper and deeper, and it had nothing to do with the show.
Not
except a few things. There was a few things he talked about Mox, but I'm saying overall his presser had nothing to do with that show.
I would have even been happy if Tony Khan would have put on those wrestling boots for a few minutes and maybe stood up and demanded, that everybody just leave because he's as pissed off as CM Punk right now. And I own this damn company. Everybody get out. You want to do something like that? Cool. That would have been.
And I'll get to the bottom of this, and we'll hold a press conference regarding what was just said. Yeah.
Right.
Let me investigate.
That would have been a lot better than
just sitting there going, yep, shaking his head. For those audio listeners, we're shaking our head, smiling right now.
Yeah, yep. That's all he fucking did. And it
what was with the
off.
muffin too? Like, why are you eat? Like, I know that you just wrestled and you probably got to get some food back in your.
You definitely do. Oh yeah.
but he's just, he's licking his lips, smacking, sucking on frosting. I'm like, bro,
right? What was it? Anti-Maze or something?
I don't know what it was. It looked good. I go lie.
Go and check them out. They're not open on Mondays and Tuesdays though.
He makes me want to try some Spindrift now.
Oh my God. I need a drink of my non-sponsored Dr. Pepper for a moment.
But yeah, oh man, because like I'm watching All Out again, and I watched it later. So I kind of had this mix of like, I've got the scrum coming in and I've got All Out still playing and I'm still catching up. And it was just like all of that great stuff. And even like, I felt bad for all the people after the Punk interview.
Right.
I heard they called in Jericho just on the fly. Like, Tony Storm just won an AEW Women's Championship, and nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Because they're only talking about that media scrum. And you just put on a 15-match marathon pay-per-view, which some of that stuff didn't need to be there, but some of that stuff is really good.
Right. Just felt Astrid, no Jones tonight. I decided to go with my Dr. Pepper tonight and save the last few Jones soda that I have for special occasion. This is a special occasion.
I'm here,
but
I'm just kidding. I had a Jones.
I need to save them. Parrish, let's get into this too. He says, my thing is if this is a shoot, why haven't people like the Bucks or Hangman come off as they are upset, but I feel they look like they're silent victims. I don't know, feels a tad pathetic that the Bucks haven't made an official statement yet, and they won't allow Hangman to have his promo to say his piece. I don't know. I do feel the Bucks are good at making themselves look sympathetic when they might be at fault. Maybe. Quotes from the Chris Parrish.
And shout out to Pretty Kitty 667 for the cheers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo. To Parrish's point, the Bucks, here's what I think. Yeah. If everything went down the way it went down.
Right.
So Punk is talking, he goes off, and then a fight breaks out. I have to feel like in that moment, at some point, Tony Khan had to have said, shut the shit down. Let's get to the bottom of this, and then don't go run into the meat. Maybe he actually did step in. I don't know. This is all just the wildest thing I've encountered in my time is covering wrestling on a regular basis like this. Right. Like, it's just crazy to me, and I have no inside information or any of it, but I have to imagine somebody said, okay, that just happened. Punk, maybe Tony Khan was like a deer in the headlights, didn't know what to do.
That's like, possible too.
Do you piss off because you got MJF right there for the taking, and I think that plan is he takes the belt from Punk and we go to that extreme. Maybe he's like, I don't piss off Punk in this moment and have him walk now. I don't know. It was just, it's crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. That's what I heard today too, that Jericho stepped in and kind of like got everything kind of back on track from a scrum side of things. And Tony Khan had to go oh my goodness. I'm telling you, somebody got bit. It was wild.
Right? Somebody got punched square in the face.
Yeah.
That's what happened from what I've heard, from what my sources have been telling me. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Brick killed a guy with a trident. This escalated quickly. It's like that scene in Anchorman. No touching of the hair or face. Let's do this.
Oh shit. Let's move on and talk about something that may be a little bit more positive right now. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Have you seen Monday Night Raw yet?
I have not seen it all the way through. That is my Tuesday night routine as I catch up on Raw. If I missed anything, but I did see that Braun Strowman is back. That's right. That's cool. Like
that. Yep.
He's a guy that I thought they definitely misused a lot in the end of his first run there. And I'm hoping that Triple H can get him back to the monster among men, like when he was feuding with Reigns.
Yes.
So if that's where you were going with Raw, that's what I saw. I was like, oh snap, he's back. That is awesome. And then the Dominic Mysterio stuff, I'm super excited for that because I think Dominic desperately needed something new. And all I know is the Mysterio family Christmas might be as wild as an AEW media scrum.
Right. So Parrish, with that as well, I agree with that. But if this is a work, I feel Colt Cabana has to be involved somehow. Yes, somehow he does. And you know what, Ed, you were so right. Now, I will be very transparent with everybody. I spent the weekend at camp. Okay?
You got to pay the bills, Ed. You got to go with what the people want. But he ain't wrong. That Sheamus and Gunther match was my match of the weekend. And then Mello and Ricochet absolutely killed it. So if you put them on a short list too. I'd like to see a best of 5 with those two.
Right. Honestly. Just so that all of those that are listening to the audio afterwards, Ed says, to think we had matches like Gunther and Sheamus or Mello and Ricochet, and we spend 35 minutes talking about Punk having a temper tantrum. LOL. Yeah, we definitely did. That's why I wanted to transition to some good shit that's happening. Braun Strowman, which I honestly didn't think that this was going to happen. We all saw the reports. We all saw the broadcasters and the media personnel out there posting Braun Strowman's back in the WWE this Monday. He's showing up. I sat there going, I'll believe it when I see it, only because I know how down he talked about the WWE when he was with Control Your Narrative.
Right.
So now, thankfully, Control Your Narrative has actually come out with a statement on Braun Strowman, Adam Scherr. And I think it was actually very eloquently done, where they simply said, Adam Scherr is no longer with us, or Titan is no longer with us. What is with us, though, is the ability to see Braun Strowman finish out what was not completed for him within the WWE. So very, very professional on their parts. And I was very happy with that because they didn't shit all over the conglomerate going, those bastards are taking our talent from us and yada, yada bullshit. No, they actually went, we're happy for him. And this is a great opportunity. And we love seing that.
That's because EC3 wants a real run one day.
Right.
And you brought it up. You said you were surprised because Braun came back after shitting on the WWE after he left. But I mean, Cody smashed the throne, right? Like, it's that old school adage, like anything's repairable if we can make money. You know, this has been the WWE's mindset forever, and that was Vince. And I'm all the good we're talking about Triple H and how he's doing things different, he still has the same tendencies, and he's been in this business long enough to know that, like, again, like I said it earlier, if they would have been able to sign CM Punk, they would have done it. Let bygones be bygones. If we think we can make money with Braun Strowman and we can get him probably at a discounted rate, I have to imagine he's probably not making what he was making his first run, but I'm sure he's making something comparable, I'm sure. But whatever, he agreed to the number. That's for him to discuss, not my business what he makes. But yeah, and I like what Triple H is doing. He's restacking this heavyweight division because they made the decision to keep it on Roman at Clash, which I thought was the wrong move. I really thought you've got this, even if you wanted to Austin Theory cash it in, you had Drew, give him his moment. You built Drew up to be this amazing, unbeatable guy, and then you decide to keep it on Roman. So that says to me that you've got something bigger in store, but he's going to need some people because he's ran through everybody for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So bring Braun back. Braun's a big dude. He's a opposing dude.
Monster.
He's a believable guy. If you book him correctly and let him flip over ambulances and trailers and do what he was doing, like I like Braun Strowman. I really did.
Too.
I enjoyed him a lot. I know people think he's not every wrestler has to be a 5-star banger match guy. Not everybody's going to be Ricochet and Carmelo Hayes in the ring, and you need that diversity. And like him standing across from Roman, let's go. Like, I'm here for it.
Right. Now, when it comes to Clash at the Castle, I had a very strong feeling that Roman was going to be keeping the WWE what are they even calling it?
the WWE is it the Universal WWE Undisputed? It's something. It's all those words jumbled any which way you want it. That's what it's
so called. They allowed Roman Reigns to keep the WWE Championship. And I figured that they were going to. What surprised me was the Gunther Sheamus matchup. I thought for sure, because you're not going to give it to Drew McIntyre just yet. You're still building him. You've built him, and it would have been great to see. It would have been. No. But I don't think it's time just yet. They can continue this story with Roman and Drew, and I will still buy into it. Now with Gunther and Sheamus, this would have been an opportunity to get that UK crowd behind maybe somebody more in the UK, right? Sheamus, Ireland, right? Yeah, 100% they were, right? You got Gunther, who's more European, right? The Germany side of things. And I think that title change could have made sense if they had gone with that. And I'm surprised that they didn't, right? When I hear the UK, I think England, like I think England, and I think more like Scotland and Ireland and stuff, right? Like that's where my mind goes. So that would have been a perfect opportunity to.
Plus, they built it up and pushed it and beat us over the head with he's never won the IC title, and
Astrid says she was too.
I would have given it to Sheamus too. That match was brutal. That was my match of the weekend. It was just physical. It was brutal. There was nothing cute about it. It was sloppy. It was all over the place, and that's what you wanted. Right. I would have put it on Sheamus because I also believe that like you can figure out a way to get it back on Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him, if you want to. But giving Sheamus that moment, because when he was the last one to leave the ring, and they gave him a standing ovation, 60,000 people cheering for him. Imagine him winning it in that moment. And then, like I said, on a Raw or SmackDown or whatever you want to do at the next pay-per-view, you can just, he got it. He got his moment. Because Sheamus is one of those all-time greats.
Yeah.
We're not going to look back and go, remember that like IC title run he had for like 2 weeks? No, we're just going to be like, he held it. He held them all. He was a Grand Slam champion, So yeah, I'm with you. I would have went Sheamus in that moment, but I know that they want to keep Gunther Strong. I hate saying Gunther. I'm just gonna call him Walter.
Say Gunther then. Gunther. You don't have to
Gunther
try to Gunther.
reminds me of Friends.
Right. Astrid comes in and says, I thought maybe it's too early for Gunther to lose, but at the same time, that crowning of the one championship Sheamus hasn't held yet in the UK would have made the crowd pop even more. And I fully agree with that. It definitely would have. And that's where my mindset was going. That's 100% where I thought that they were going with it. I'm surprised they didn't, but I'm not the writer. Yeah. That's how it would have gone if they had me writing for them.
Even in that moment, maybe call an audible. Like in that, if you notice that match is like, they're leaning heavily Sheamus, and Imperium is back, and that's cool. But Imperium is a heel stable. Like that's all they do is that's a heel gimmick through and through. And you can turn the Fight Club into something, face if you want, even for one night or a couple of weeks. I mean, Butch is funny as hell. Like, I hate that they're doing that to Pete Dunne, but he's funny as hell in that little scrappy do mode. But hey, what are you gonna? I don't write the shows. That's why I'm hanging out with you tonight.
The Chris Parrish saying Gunther needed this W. Sheamus win and IC title will come. This wasn't his right story, but it will come. Yeah, you know what? I can definitely feel that as well.
Yeah,
definitely I can. Yeah, Sheamus is going to. They're not going to allow Sheamus to retire without that IC championship, even if it's only for a 2-week period. That's the only championship he hasn't held. Come on.
Can we talk about for like a second just in how impressive Sheamus has been over the last like year and a half, like consistency wise, and you put him in these things because there was a thought he was done. His back was so messed up that I remember talking in some type of podcast form at one point, like, hey, if this is it for Sheamus, like, thank you. Like, you did so much for the business. And like, he's came back stronger than ever. He's consistent. The matches with Roman, this matches with Gunther, like any spot you put him in, he just seems to figure it out. He's underrated and underappreciated, I think, by a lot of the fan base. And I hope they start to catch on to like, he's an all-timer. He's a sure ballot Hall of Famer, as they say.
Oh yeah, 100%. If he, I agree.
Don't sleep on Sheamus. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Even though I yelled at him once outside of Survivor Series.
Oh, tell me the story. Come on.
So I went to Survivor Series one time, and I didn't know where it was at, where the Indiana Pacers used to play, and parking around there is atrocious. So I bit the bullet and paid for like good parking just so I wouldn't get lost. Right. And it just so happened to be where I parked was also in the where the performers parked.
Okay.
And so we're driving out. I have a couple. I don't think he probably remember. I got a couple follows. So Sheamus, so he's next to me at a light, and I just look over and I was like, "Hey, Sheamus!" And he looks at me and I go, "It's click it or ticket here in Indiana, bro. Put your seatbelt on." And he gave me like this dirty look and sped off.
Oh wow!
Fun fact: he's also a huge Notre Dame fan, and I live in South Bend and go to Notre Dame games on occasion, and he's like our unofficial mascot. And he was at a game, and he's walking right up on me, and I'm there, and I go, Sheamus, like I wanted to get a picture, and he just kept on going. And in my mind, I'm going, does he remember who I was from all those years back? Who yelled at him to put his seatbelt on? He's like, I remember you. I never forget a face. I'm gonna keep on walking. Got snubbed by Sheamus.
Oh God. Jupiter Vision, thank you for stopping in here. I do appreciate that. Oh,
me and Sheamus got beef, even though I think you're an all-time great performer. No, he's good.
You need to test you need to test the waters there. You need to actually go onto the Twitter machine and just, at Sheamus and just put it's click it or ticket here. and see what kind of response you get. Right?
Oh my God, he'd be like, I'll remember. It jogs my memory of all the things. He's probably lost more memories, from wrestling, but that one just sticks in the back of his mind. He's like, why does that sound familiar? Oh, that time I was in Indianapolis, Indiana. Some jabronis yelling at me outside. He didn't have a
Jesus.
seatbelt on. I was trying to help him out. Clicking her ticket, man. Seamus,
Right.
stay safe, bro.
Oh God, Pluggo, this has been absolutely fantastic. We're reaching that hour mark. We do have Chris Parrish that will be coming on at, I believe it's 10 p.m. and he's going to be bringing all of you NXT as he breaks down everything that happened from tonight's NXT show. Make sure you are checking that out. And as I said at the beginning, even though this is my last stream with Love Wrestling, I want you all to continue to follow and make sure that you're supporting these people who are putting out great content. It's the way to do it. Definitely is. Pluggo,
Yes,
it's your time to shine, my friend. Tell everybody
not my time. This
where
is your
they can
moment,
find
buddy.
you.
Thank you. Wow. Whoa. Put me on the big screen like that. I see how you are. Well, Carl, I just want to first of all say thank you for allowing me to crash your final stream and be on with you one last time in a Love Wrestling setting of this type. Hopefully, maybe you'll come on as a guest on Between Two Beers, which you'll find me Thursday night, 8 p.m. on the same channel with JPJ. We'll be talking all sorts of crazy stuff from this past weekend. Who knows what kind of hijinks we're getting, but you can find me at Pluggo_ on all the social medias. Just Google Pluggo. You'll find the face. Yes. Thank you, Carl. I can't thank Carl enough, but yeah, appreciate you having me on. But get back on here, buddy.
Okay.
You can find
I'm
Between
here.
Two Beers, at B2 Beers on all the socials. You find Pluggo on all the socials. This ain't about me. It's about you, Carl. Again, I appreciate you allowing me to come on and spend this hour with you on your final show here on Love Wrestling. You've done nothing but great things here, and I know you are going to absolutely kill it out there, whatever you do, and I will always support you 100%.
Thank you.
No
You don't
questions
understand
asked.
how much that means to me.
And Astrid, I am glad to see you as well. I know she's out there killing it as well. Her last stream was over. There's not wrong with betting on yourself. You know, we're all good. It's all love here at Love Wrestling.
That's right. Make sure that you're following me as well. If you have not, you can follow me at TB Talk Pod, as you see down in the corner there, at TB Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To close out the show today, I'm going to run those sponsors one last time, and then we will get out of here. As I put the graphic back up, tonight's episode was called Send in the Clowns. This has been Turnbuckle Talk. Pluggo, I love you to the moon and back, my
too,
friend.
sir.
Remember, everyone, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other.
Support for Turnbuckle Talk, as heard on Love Wrestling, is brought to you by Manscaped. Who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world? Manscaped. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code LOVEWRESTLING at manscaped.com.
Make sure that you are going and checking out RK Athletics 1 as well. RK Athletics 1 on all the socials. RKathletics.ca is the website to go to. Rich King over there will get you into the best shape of your life. Whether you are in the Edmonton, Alberta area, or by going to that website, they can even send you some stuff to do at home as a personal trainer and get you into the best shape ever. Again, make sure that you are checking out rkathletics.ca.